It's the Bush League Mud Show. It's the Bush League Mud Show. Let's go.
Are you ready?
Make some noise!
Yo, what's going on? We are back. Another episode. It's Slade.
PJ.
We are the Bush League Mud Show, your podcast for professional wrestling news. All it's in there, basically we watch it so you don't have to, if that's what you choose to do in life.
It's been rough this week. It really, not any other week, but it was pretty rough.
Be sure to like the show on YouTube. Also, check us out anywhere where you can get your favorite podcasts. Well, let's get into the WWE news. A lot of stuff very heavy with SummerSlam related topics when it comes to this company. Some updates right out of the gate on some of the plans the company plans on doing. The number one, The Rock. That name popped up this past week. WWE reportedly are hoping they can get old Dwayne at least to appear, if not at SummerSlam, then hopefully sometime around November for the Survivor Series.
Okay.
This according to Andrew Zarian of the Mad Men podcast. He says that current plans call for Survivor Series to be a huge event after SummerSlam. That's going to be at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that WWE is also hoping to get The Rock to appear at Survivor Series, although it's not a done deal. Well, I don't know, PJ. I mean, one of the biggest stars in the company's history and still relevant as one of the top movie stars in the world. Yeah. It would be huge. You'd be dumb to not at least make the call and see if he's interested. And we've been kind of projecting this or predicting this for some time now that he at some point will be involved in this Roman Reigns storyline.
Yeah, eventually, if he is getting involved, they have to have him show up at one of these events. That is, if they're planning for this Mania for it to be, which I would have to assume you would, since it's going to be in Dallas. You could break all kinds of attendance records with Roman and The Rock headlining that thing. So SummerSlam, I think SummerSlam might be a little too early to put him in there maybe, but Survivor Series I think is more of a real deal. His schedule too, obviously, with filming and doing all kinds of other things right now is nuts. I think they might have a better chance Survivor Series-wise than that SummerSlam.
Yeah. The very last time that we saw The Rock on WWE programming as far as an appearance, that was October of 2019. He was a part of the SmackDown move to Fox. He was on that show. In terms of wrestling, we saw him last at WrestleMania 32. That was in 2016. That was the match where he and John Cena joined forces and beat down Eric Rowan. In terms of an actual match.
And they still count that on record as a match where it's like that wasn't a match. I don't know why, but because they're like, well, that was the fastest victory. Now I think it beat Sheamus now over Daniel Bryan. And it's like, come on.
And I apologize. I think that was just The Rock by himself, right?
Well,
the
Cena
Wyatt
came down for the run-in. And it was, they combined forces. So, WWE counts that as a match, and that's kind of what buried the Wyatt family.
Was last match that we consider as an official match, WrestleMania 29, he and Cena main eventing. When Cena paid him back for the previous year of him beating Cena. Well, he put Cena over that year. No indication as of right now if The Rock is going to actually have a match at SummerSlam, but there was a great deal of speculation and hope within the WWE universe that he's going to come back for at least one more match at some point with Roman.
It's got to. The way the story is building, it would be the perfect continuation of the story, or just the pinnacle of getting Roman just that much over. He already is. I guess it just would be one of those matches that you could build around, one of those dream matches that they've been waiting for some time.
Yeah. With Edge, what's going on with Edge? We haven't seen Edge, dude, since WrestleMania, which I can't believe that's been almost a full-blown 2 months ago.
Yeah.
He was in the triple threat with Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan. He was pinned along with Daniel Bryan that helped Reigns retain as the champ. A match at SummerSlam. He's not been seen on television, and we know that he does have one of those deals where he's only making a few appearances per year. He's got that Goldberg type deal, so good for Edge. A match at SummerSlam that might actually be in the works, dude. What are you thinking about Edge? I feel that with so much speculation of everyone else potentially making an appearance at SummerSlam, I don't know where you fit Edge into a storyline where it would make sense to use one of his appearances as a match at SummerSlam.
Exactly,
unless he's an absolute fallback plan on everyone else falling through, and then you put him at Roman.
Well, he's been a fallback plan though from the start. It seems like, because how they had him win the Rumble, and then he looked like, which way is he going to go with this? Is he going to go for the Raw Championship, or is he going SmackDown? Well, then they threw, him and Roman all together. And we were kind of surprised by that. We're like, oh, okay. And then the Daniel Bryan thing got in there. So they haven't had concrete plans with Edge ever since the pandemic hit. Because we did hear the for sure plan before the pandemic hit, and even after their I Quit match at the last Mania, that it would be Orton and Edge one more time around for the championship. That was the one plan that we heard that was out there. Well, I think that all got scrapped up when pandemic hit. And now with Edge, I don't know where you fit him in. And what even roster is he on? Is he on SmackDown, or is he a Raw guy? And
well, the reason why people are talking about
him
him being at SummerSlam is because of the fact that he's being advertised to appear on that July 16th episode of SmackDown. It's going to be in Houston. So that's going to be the first SmackDown in front of live fans for more than a year. Dave Meltzer is saying that Edge showing up on SmackDown about a month out from SummerSlam, I mean, it would automatically get people to think that there are plans for him to be a part of that pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly right. And I guess the opponent...
Or is he there to cost someone a match?
You would think so, in Edge fashion, because he was starting to get a little heelish Edge with the promos and whatnot as they were leading up to the Reigns and Daniel Bryan triple threat. And let's face it, that's the Edge we want to see. We want him. That's how he was champion when he came back. He's a heel. But the problem is, with SmackDown, you've got some strong heels now. You've got Rollins. You've got Reigns. I don't know who you throw him with at that roster right now. Big E. I'm just throwing things out there right now. I mean, Big E needs someone to dance with after it looked like he was going to have a program with Aleister Black. I mean, he's up there. Cesaro, maybe? Cesaro Edge match. If they get his Rollins feud all taken care of before then, but that's a kind of wonder situation where you're going to slot him.
Keep in mind, he's advertised for the July 16th SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Before SummerSlam in July, there's going to be this pay-per-view that he's familiar with.
Okay.
Money in the Bank.
All right. Good point.
Could he be making an appearance July 16th to throw himself into the Money in the Bank match?
It would make sense, but I know he's cleared, but would they clear him for that kind of a match? Climbing ladders, taking bumps potentially off ladders. I don't know if they would actually clear him for a match like that. Maybe if it was a screw job like a couple of years ago when Lesnar came waltzing out at the end and just climbed up there because everyone was cleared out.
That's the way you book it.
Maybe. I guess that would have to be, because
that's kind of how they booked Roman's heel persona as he was coming back. He was just stepping in right at the end.
Yeah.
Cleaning up the mess, getting the win, or beating people's ass, whatever.
Wreck everyone, and leave, So, I mean, that way would work with Edge, but I don't think there was any way in hell they would clear him for a full-out ladder match type of thing.
Just throwing it out there, if you get Edge in Money in Bank, he wins. He cashes in. You're back in this scenario.
Yes, you are.
That fans were getting on you about a couple of years ago with Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Brock, this was more of a situation where you called him up when you absolutely needed him. With Edge, you have a deal where it's just a certain number of appearances a year.
Yeah.
So how do you book that? because if he wins Money in the Bank, you got to give him another run with the belt at some point.
Yeah. And with that contract, with the limited appearances, now that I think about it, I don't think he'll win a championship ever again with that kind of contract because he only has, 5 dates a year or 6 dates. If you're a champion, you can't make the weekly shows. Even if you defend it on a pay-per-view every 30 days, he'd be up by June. If it, just as the calendar resets, if he did it from January to June.
Maybe they could just dip into the slush fund.
Yeah.
The money that they're saving on all these salaries they've been dumping.
Yeah, so maybe his days. Are they going to do the thing? Well, you did get injured a little bit last year, and you did miss some time. Are they going to do a Jeff Hardy kind of thing and say, until we're going to have to save some of that contract time? I could see that happening.
With Brock Lesnar, Dave Meltzer, he recently made an appearance on the Sunday Night's Main Event podcast where he talked about Brock Lesnar and suggested that the Beast Incarnate does not currently have any plans with the company. He is suggesting the dream match between Lashley and Lesnar, as of right now, is not on the cards, as WWE have not even contacted Brock about a SummerSlam return yet.
I call BS on that.
Now Meltzer is saying that any decision to bring him back, it's going to come from Vince. And apparently with Vince and a few of the other forces in WWE, they don't want to bring him back until they for sure have a clear path of he and Reigns.
You're not going to have. You don't want that path at next Mania. I'm just saying, that's obviously a Mania match. Well, you don't want that next year. You want, I know I want Rock and Roman next year at the biggest stadium that you can put the two in. I don't want Brock and Roman next year. I don't want to see them, quite frankly, I don't want to see them go at it. They're two heels. I don't want to see those two go at it for a while.
I don't want to see those two go at it until Brock is back and he is just strictly on Raw, which allows Reigns to just be strictly on SmackDown. Mm-hmm. Paul has a guy on each show dominating.
Yeah.
And then you go for close to a year to that following Mania.
Yes.
It's a different type of matchup. Yes, we've seen Reigns and Brock many times before, but it's a different Roman. That's how you build the match.
Yeah.
Maybe the first one, Roman beats his ass. It's a squash.
Okay.
Kind of like the goal. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing. I just look at it from a perspective of, I think this is actually a reboot of matches that would actually intrigue people to watch because of what you've done with Roman since Brock Lesnar has been off television.
But I think you still have to build Roman up even more to try to get that memory out of people's minds of the first couple times he went up against him at Mania as the babyface. Because, you have badass Roman right now. And I think you can run with badass Roman for another year, maybe two, and stretch it out. Then you have a gigantic match between those two. And, if you throw the Rock factor in there, too, and Roman goes over the Rock and gets that rub, too, that's why I think that's where your big money could be down the line. So I guess if WWE is waiting for that, I guess SummerSlam would be out of the picture because they're not going to ink him to a multi-year contract if that's not the plans yet. Just waste money as we see they're cutting guys left and right now.
Yeah. Slade and PJ, it is the Bush League Mud Show. Be sure to like the show here on YouTube. Just talking about some Brock Lesnar, talking WWE news as it relates to SummerSlam. More SummerSlam news as it is related to their travel packages. Now, for SummerSlam this year, it's going to be at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas for the Raiders play.
Made it official.
They made it official finally last weekend.
Yeah, after all that, it might be at a different place. It might not be. It's in Vegas like we thought.
Now, what we have learned this week is that they're going to operate at 50% capacity.
Okay. That
would put your stadium at, about 35,000, 40,000?
Yes, I believe that's what they were
if you're going off the football capacity.
Yes.
what you will get. Another year of the SummerSlam vacation destination travel packages.
All right. We're jonesing to travel since we've been all stuck in isolation the last year.
And one of the questions that you had, you said, well, being that you're going to run it on Saturday night this year, the same night as the Pacquiao fight.
Yes.
Hotels are going to be very scarce. These these travel packages for WWE SummerSlam, are they going to include some type of hotel?
You would think.
Now let's break it down.
Okay.
For one person,
Yes.
if you're looking to get the championship package, PJ.
The
championship package.
Damn, pal.
Excuse me. $3,185. $3,185. $3,185 you get for the championship package. Now, what comes in the championship package?
What comes with this?
What comes in the championship package will be ringside floor seating, rows 1 through 10.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Exclusive experience and brunch with WWE superstars or legends.
Okay.
Exclusive championship gift bag.
Ooh.
WWE SummerSlam merchandise. Privileged service dedicated to your travel pack experience. That's what it has here.
Well, concierge.
Yeah. 2-night hotel accommodation.
Oh, so they do have a hotel.
You're going to check in on Friday. You're going to check out Sunday.
Early.
Very
early in
now,
Vegas.
the event is probably, even with your pre-show, that's not going to be kicking off till when, about 3, 4?
No, I think they put a 7 o'clock start time on this. I think they've advertised a 7 p.m. start time.
But that's excluding pre-show. They're most likely going to have a pre-show match. So you're probably talking, let's just say 4.
Yes. Okay.
So what they're doing is they're helping Vegas out. You got to be checked. You're going to be checked out of that on Sunday morning by 11 o'clock at the latest.
But Vegas time, they're 3 hours behind, right? So it would actually start damn near 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I think.
So,
well, maybe they're 2 now, but 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon is when this thing would start.
That's your championship package. For your platinum package.
I didn't hear any airfare there, by the way.
Yeah, there ain't no
you're paying
airfare
for your damn flight there. Okay.
Yeah. For the platinum package, that is going to run $1,840 per person. Now I also have to say too, with these, with each package, there is a chance to get a discounted rate if you've got a group going and you guys decide to simultaneously purchase the same package.
All right.
So for the championship package, $3,185 for one person. $29.15 per person if it's 2 people. $28.25 for 3 people. $27.80 per person for 4 people.
All right.
Per person in a group if you want the championship package.
I love me some wrestling, but if I'm going to Vegas and I'm spending $27.85,
you want to be in a match.
It ain't going to be in the ring. I can tell you that. It might be down somewhere on the strip or off the strip, but I'm just saying, yeah. Or the tables. I'm not watching the damn wrestling match for $3,000.
Yeah. Now the platinum package, that one is going to go for about for one person $1,840, $1,570 for 2 people, $1,480 for 3 people, and $1,435 for 4 people. Now I'm just going to breeze through what all you get in these packages. For the most part, platinum is a little similar to championship. There are just a few things that are a little different, like the seating. Ringside floor, you're just going to be 1 row back of the championship package, people. You're going to get that experience brunch with either a superstar or a legend. You'll get your gift bag. You will have also 2-night hotel accommodation. So really the only thing different that I see here is really where you sit.
Yeah.
Down on the floor.
Now, we've talked about this. You know, certain pay-per-views they used to back in the pre-COVID days. If you sat up front, you got to take that damn chair home.
Right.
How the hell would you lug that on a plane? Now, I know it's not saying that here, so maybe that's why they eliminated that for this. But I'm like, if by chance you get to take the chair home with you, how the hell do you get that through the airport and TSA?
Yeah. Your other packages, you got the gold and the silver package. The gold package is going to run $12.50 per person. $12.50 for one person, then discount it from there. Basically the cheapest.
Yeah.
The absolute cheapest.
That's what I'm looking for.
If you want to go to SummerSlam this year in Las Vegas, the cheapest.
Yes.
You better be in a group of 4. That's $765.
Okay, $765.
That's going to be the absolute cheapest you're going to be able to,
And that still includes a hotel?
Well, if
that's the $765 rate, you're staying at Circus.
Well, that is the silver package, right? So yes, that is a 2-night hotel accommodation.
All right, that's where you're staying. Hope you like clowns. Yeah. Watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas before you go, too. Ride that merry-go-round.
Well, the SummerSlam travel packages, PJ, is not the only thing the company is running a hustle on. They have decided for a limited time only, they will be offering superstar cameos. Now, remember, this was an issue around the beginning of the year. They told everyone, we don't want you on any kind of third-party thing. We don't want you on Twitch. Don't want you doing cameos. If you're going to do it with us.
But there's guys that were still. I know Drew McIntyre was still on Cameo even after that announcement. So I don't understand now with them bringing this back up again that they want the money. But yeah, there were some guys that were still on it.
Yeah. These round of videos, they're being offered through June 11th through Sunday, June 20th, which will be the day of Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
So they're using these cameos to basically promote it.
Yes.
Would you like to hear the prices of the 10 superstars so far that are on deck that will be a part of this?
Oh, yes.
Give me who you think would be on this list and guess what their price would be.
Kofi Kingston.
Kofi is not on this list.
Okay, so he's not.
Neither is the New Day, so you can rule them out.
New Day.
They're not in this top 10.
How about Lashley?
Bobby Lashley, your WWE champ.
Okay.
He will be one of the 10 making cameo appearances, promoting Hell in a Cell. How much do you think on Cameo for the WWE? Okay. This is the price they've set.
Yes.
How much do you think they have Bobby Lashley priced out for?
Okay, he's the champion, so he's got to be the most expensive.
You would think.
$300.
No.
High or low?
He is not the most expensive.
Really?
But he is higher in price.
He's higher.
Yes, you said $300. I'll give you another crack. He's right in the dead smack
$400.
You're close. Real close.
$425.
Real close.
$450.
$450.
We're charging $450 for that.
Bobby Lashley.
Do I get MVP with that? Or do I just get Lashley?
I'm looking at this. It looks like you will only be getting Lashley.
Oh, no. For $450,
he will have to cut his own
MVP.
promo. He will cut his own promo for you. No MVP.
Oh.
His opponent, Drew McIntyre, was also be it will be $450 for Drew McIntyre.
See, here's the thing.
They're right in the middle.
That McIntyre, like I was talking about, that McIntyre price used to be about like $120 he was charging. I was just amazed that he was doing that. But yeah, that's funny. You're telling me though there's somebody that's higher than that.
There's about 5 other people
that are higher than that.
Well,
Roman
is not on this list.
Okay. Heyman?
Paul Heyman's not on this list. I'll give you the cheapest. Cesaro and Nia Jax. Rhea Ripley and Sami Zayn. All 4 of them are the cheapest. They are the same exact price. And they are the cheapest you can get.
$200?
No.
Lower?
Higher.
Higher than $200?
Higher.
For a message that's probably going to last 30 seconds.
There's no word yet on how long these cameos will
last long. $300?
Higher, a little bit. A little higher.
We're starting with the low end at $3. Oh, my God.
$350.
$350.
For Cesaro, Nia Jax, your Raw Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, and Sami Zayn.
Oh, my God.
That's where we're starting it off. Bianca Belair is $400.
Okay, I was going to say she's got to be up there higher than but Rhea's down at $350. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who priced these out.
Yeah.
Lashley and McIntyre at $450. Charlotte Flair is going to be $500 along with Kevin Owens.
Whoa. Owens is going to be $500?
So is Rey Mysterio.
Okay. Well, Ray now it looks like he's figured in to be in the championship match with Reigns. Yeah. So,
but Kevin Owens, a guy that we can never figure out exactly what to do with him the last 2 or 3 years in WWE. He's $500. He's on the higher end. Your two most expensive.
Okay.
Who do you think those would be? $600. That's the most expensive cameo, and it's two
Rollins.
people. He's one of them.
Okay, Rollins and
who have you seen
Orton?
a lot of? Who have you seen a lot of lately?
Alexa Bliss.
Yes.
Does the doll get included?
You would hope.
I don't know if I want one with the doll because then all kinds of shit will be falling down. And
oh, no, actually, I gave you 9 out of the 10. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13. I apologize. There is one more person who's going for $750.
$750.
And they are not on the active roster.
Ric Flair.
Well, close. Think of another high-profile legend.
Hulk.
Hanging around right now.
Oh, DiBiase?
Same.
I'm thinking NXT.
Yes. Biggest name they got helping out there.
Why is it escaping me right now?
If you want to tap out, go ahead and tap out.
I'm tapping out on it.
Shawn Michaels.
Oh,
Shawn Michaels is $750.
$750.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. No. I love a Shawn promo from back in the day, but for $750.
Well,
how much are these guys getting too? That's what I would wonder. How much are they taking home from this?
You know? Well, I'll be honest. I was surprised when I saw Shawn on the list, and then I thought about it. I was like, well, Shawn was in the first ever Hell in a Cell match.
I guess.
Does he at least tell you a little bit of a story about he and Taker in that match? Or
he
did
can
they
have time. Well, maybe if one person only buys.
Not going to get one of those long-winded Jerry Lawler cameo stories?
Oh, yeah. Look at my house. Here, look at this. Oh, come over here. Look at that.
All right. So there you go. The Hustle, that is WWE cameo appearances promoting Hell in a Cell. Wrestlers on the chopping block. Once again, potentially WWE officials are reportedly looking to make more releases down the road here, and possibly sooner than later. Now, we talked about this the previous week. They had just announced the release of 6 WWE main talent superstars, Braun Strowman and Aleister Black being 2 of the most high-profile of that 6. Now, word via Andrew Zarian of the Madman Podcast is that there will be more releases made as the company is looking to cut back on contracts. Now, get a load of this. Okay. It was already reported earlier this week that there's a push amongst people in WWE to bring Aleister Black back after they've already released him. Now, people are digging into this. And apparently, this is something that hopefully does not happen in that company. Where the belief is that the company is releasing talent from their deals
to re-sign,
to renegotiate deals and bring them back at a cheaper pay.
I'm not surprised because a lot of these guys got signed around the time AEW was announcing they were going to be an entity or a thing. So that's where, they got scared and they started
the 5-year deals.
And whatnot. So now as they see the product they're against, it's not scaring them as much. And I could see that. And that is an agent thing to do. Nick Kahn. I mean, again, we've talked about this. He's worked with players, with teams and whatnot. And that's what happens in the different sports worlds. They see the contract. It's not meeting the performance level or whatnot. They'll release him. Then the guy will sign with another team, most likely at a lower rate. I don't know if he's trying to translate that system into wrestling. I don't know how that will work. If at all, it will, I guess, if guys sign it, and then it'll prove his point that, yes, this system will work here too. But
are you inadvertently leveling the playing field if you did something like that, if you basically bog down the contracts, because now there's no enticing reason of why I definitely want to go to WWE over AEW?
Well, correct, yeah.
The contracts would be similar unless Tony Khan is willing to overpay himself.
Yeah.
But for the most part, let's just say he doesn't do anything more than what he's already doing. And we haven't heard numbers or anything with AEW. Let's just say it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now the salaries similar.
Mm-hmm.
There's really, I mean, there might be obviously some little extra perks here and there that Vince and his crew could offer you, but is it worth the headache of being tamed creatively? At least you can go to Jacksonville and you got a promoter. Whether you agree with some of his tactics or not, he's more open to letting me be a little bit more creative and do some extra shit.
It's going to depend on what the talent wants to do. If they're fine,
like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, could this backfire in WWE if this is how we're going to go about business in the contract with the people?
Definitely. And then just like in every walk of life, if you see this going on, there's no incentive to get better or be more creative or do things like that.
You're not going to let me work dates anywhere else.
Then why the hell am I going to give you everything I have? Because you're not going to listen anyways. I'm just the thing on, and I got it. These guys are going to start looking at it, and they're just a number on the spreadsheet. I mean, they may already have that mindset too after what just happened this last week. Yeah, you're a faceless number, and that is a morale killer. We've heard. I mean, we're going to talk about that coming up. That the locker room area, it's kind of not good right now, I could imagine.
That's what some people are saying, but one person's saying everything's all good.
Well, and that person's under contract. Imagine that. But yeah, I think, yes, for creative-wise, this isn't a good thing. It's not. It's just not good for wrestling. It's not good in the sports world either, but it happens, and we understand why it happens there because teams and whatnot have to move on. But with our favorite wrestlers and whatnot, it's not a good slope to be on.
With the recently released, as mentioned before, Aleister Black, he could be in a pretty sweet position right now. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, there is strong belief that Black will sign with AEW once his 90-day non-compete clause expires August 31st. Should that happen, the AEW All-Out pay-per-view, September 5th in Chicago, would seem like that would probably be the first appearance for Aleister Black. Now, we talked about this last week. When exactly were those contracts supposed to expire for those 6 that had just been recently released? There was talks that WWE, the contracts were set up where they could not appear at an All-Out. Now this technically could put Black in a position where he could be there August 31st. Now he's also, but he's also chatted and he's talked about how he also, he's got a bucket list of people that he wants to work. Some of them him here in the States, some of them internationally. He's talked about he would be open to doing some dates in New Japan. And I look at that as that could be a plus in his favor because Moxley has a similar type deal worked out with AEW where he's been able to do the New Japan stuff when they're able to actually let him travel in there and do stuff. Black, that's something that's enticing. Now, if he's got people in New York that are pushing to get him back after they sat there and spent time, ran new vignettes, took the time to run the vignette videos, bring him out, write him into the storyline with Big E, then you release him. I mean, that's one guy that you cannot renegotiate and lower his salary. If you're going to bring him back, you got to bring him back. If the ideal is to keep him away from AEW.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
But does AEW know what to do with Tommy End?
No, I don't think so. Here's the thing, too, with AEW. Everyone wants AEW to sign these guys. I know Tony Khan's got a lot of money. They got a lot of guys on the roster, too, and a lot of guys they're not using.
At some point, they're going to have to trim fat.
And I know they say, oh, we're getting this second show, whatnot. We've got the 2 YouTube shows and all that. I'm sorry, the YouTube shows aren't drawing a damn dime. The new show is going to be on what time slot? The 9 o'clock time slot on Friday night. How much was the last show rating they got on a Friday night? 460,000 people.
Is this their safe zone right now? I mean, we're going to talk about AEW here in a little bit, but is this their safe zone with Dynamite, just staying true to the time slot they've been doing on Friday nights for the last several weeks as preparing them for what to look for with Rampage when that premieres?
But that's a problem. If Turner execs are saying,
because that's 2 weeks in a row with no NBA playoff game on a Friday night, and that's just what we're rolling with.
Yeah, and 465 was the last number, and they're nowhere near close to the 8s and the millions or whatever they thought they would get. I'm not saying they're going to get a million or whatever, because they are moving from the Wednesday time slot. They moved them all around. But the Rampage show is going to be on a Friday night at the same exact time frame. It's not looking good right now. So they might have to start watching the payroll where they can't just start signing guys. They got to work with who they have. And Aleister Black, is he going to move the needle? Nothing against the guy, but is he a guy you sign?
It's so clouded as it is on the roster.
Exactly. He's another Pac. I mean, he's like another one of those guys.
And we've seen some of the people they brought from Vince so far, people that have come
legends,
directly.
Though. That's the problem.
No, even before then.
Well, yeah.
Your Brody Lees, your Miros.
Well, Miro, they're finally using the right way.
But
it took them a damn near.
Didn't come in and blow it out of the water like we expected.
No, they didn't. And I know they wanted to make the big splash with the Lance Archers and the other guys that came over from Japan or were working the indies. And I know Warhorse and all those indie darlings that they brought in to try to pop a rating. I mean, Eddie Kingston was the one that worked for sure because he got the contract and he made an impression on a lot of people watching that show. But with those independent guys, no one knows them. The New York guys, people see them on the TV. I don't know how much anymore, but those are the guys that people see as the product, so they see them pop up. But again, an Aleister Black, I don't know if that's moving your needle or not.
I'm going to say that he's got to be probably open to going back because he's said all the right things. He's been nothing but positive about the company. Yeah. He hasn't trashed him one time since he has been released. Mm-hmm. I would imagine he's gotten feelers from New Japan. For shits and giggles, he's probably gotten a phone call or two from NWA, from Impact, AEW. So he's at least, based on what I'm reading, he's got the best setup so far where he's got stuff out there for him.
Yeah,
if he wants it.
Yes, and that's a nice place to have. He does have the multiple options, and that's fantastic for him. But
I will say, what is a good chip to have is the fact that we've been hearing these rumors, or that his wife, Zelina Vega, we don't know if she's officially signed back to the company, but she's been spotted around the PC. Mm-hmm. If she indeed was planning on re-signing, that could be a nice chip to have if and for him, I mean, you don't want to be away from your wife. You're both in the business. You don't want to be in one promotion, she's in the other, and who knows when you get to see each other, especially now with the shows getting ready to go back on the road.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, too, because, we've been hearing the rumblings if Zelina is back or not, but, It is a good thing to have, and I do, like we said when these releases came, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these were to go back eventually to WWE. Now, we didn't know this was maybe the tactic they were doing.
Yeah. Well, one person that is said to be reportedly going back for sure, maybe, hopefully, That's a term someone threw out there. Hopefully he's coming back.
Yeah.
WWE NXT officials reportedly interested in bringing Samoa Joe back to the company.
Not surprised. I think I said it earlier. He's got a strong connection with Triple H. And that's why I'm not surprised by this.
Now, Samoa Joe, he was a part of the April 15th roster cuts, along with some of the other budget cuts. But word now via Fightful Select is that he could be headed back to the NXT brand. At least if talents there have heard things correctly. Multiple NXT wrestlers and staff members say that they heard NXT officials, not anyone specific, them talk about how they were interested in bringing Joe back in. There have been pushes within WWE to bring back some of the recently released wrestlers. So Joe is not one. He's not the only one. We kind of talked about Aleister Black.
Yeah.
So Joe is in that pack. As far as bringing him back, reports are that reportedly it would not be for the commentating. It would be to be an active wrestler.
In NXT. Okay. That changes things up a bit. I thought he would either be a trainer role or, the commentating team is full, but I thought maybe it's the trainer thing or something, but you would actually have him on the active roster. Okay.
Now, when we hear the term NXT officials, who exactly is that? Now, we know for sure Triple H.
Yes.
Would you Regal? Is Regal in that?
Regal, yeah. Yeah.
Michaels?
I'd throw Michaels in there now.
Road Dogg?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. He's
Matt Bloom?
Yep, head trainer.
Is Bloom probably a part of the...
I would say, yeah.
Okay. So we'll just, if I hear the term NXT officials, I'll just think of those 5 guys.
Yes.
They probably chat the most.
Probably, yeah.
Is Hall still doing a little something at the PC that
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't recall if he's been there lately.
Waltman?
I think he's
in
off
and out?
And on. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I was just curious, NXT officials.
Well, I think they can pop. They pop
in
that? Now and then and all that. Yeah, I don't know if they're officially under contract or not, but they just come on by. I mean, we heard the one story from FTR once that Ricky Morton was just sitting there at the Performance Center, and they were like, no one was picking his brain to ask him information, but he was there. And they, of course, went up to him and asked him all about that.
Now,
stuff.
to be fair, 80% probably did not know who Ricky Morton were. You got to think about how they were signed. They were spotted at Arnold Classics.
Yes.
Strongman competitions.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Track and field events.
Or model agencies.
Model agency.
Yeah.
It's a different day and time where,
I know they have. I mean, I don't know if DiBiase's hanging around there now, or is he just showing up for TVs? I don't know, but I mean, there's another one you've got there as well.
Another person, Shawn Daivari. Update on him. He seems to be returning to the company to work as a producer.
I thought I saw him on SmackDown tonight as a pull-aparter.
Yeah, he was backstage at the SmackDown on Fox. He was working as a producer, according to PW Insider. Now, him returning to WWE, very interesting, being that he just worked on NWA TV last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was...
Quick turnaround.
Yeah. So it looks like Daivari is going to be back as a producer. He was a part of the 2020 cuts, at least furloughed, or he was actually just flat out released along with some other budget cuts due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And since then, he's not just been doing some producer work, he's actually been back in the ring too. He's done some stuff with Impact and MLW. So the word is that Daivari is coming back, and so are a few other people producer-wise, because they're getting ready to go back out on the road.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense that they start to prepare that whole realm of bringing people back into the fold that will be able to travel and be on the road with the company.
Because now you need those road agents back and everyone else to report back to the office.
So does Bray's dad come back? Is Mike Rotunda back on that? Is he on that list?
You want these guys back. They know the system. They know what you want. They know what you want to get through to the talent on the road. Vince, I could see Vince wanting a lot of these guys back because he's familiar with the system. He doesn't have to retrain guys. Not that Vince is training guys, but could you imagine that? God damn, pal, you got to tell him to throw more of a headlock in. God damn.
As far as release wrestlers with this company, they are said to no longer be allowed to sign autographs with their WWE names. Why do you find this to be so funny?
We can't be signing that WWE name now. You got to be. What's Virgil going to do?
Well, I was just thinking about Virgil.
How does this go, and how do they enforce this? I mean, are they going to go to every Comic-Con and everything to make sure they're not signing their name?
Wrestlers who have been released from their WWE contracts. Now, we're not sure how far they're going back. I'm going to assume within the last year or so. They are reportedly no longer allowed to sign their superstar ring names at autograph signings. Now, this was reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that talent no longer under contract to WWE are not only no longer allowed to do events or appearances using their WWE names, but are also not allowed to sign using their WWE stage names. Which, it's understandable. I get it.
Yes, they own,
And plus, most wrestlers, to be honest with you, if they already had a pretty big following on the indie scene before they signed with New York, they typically are pretty easy to go back to that name immediately anyways.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? If Daniel Bryan never comes back to WWE, he will be just fine just being Bryan Danielson.
Yep. Exactly.
Because for the longest time, that's what people knew him as.
If Rollins were ever to leave, Tyler Black. I mean, Cesaro, too. What was it? His Ring of Honor.
Claudio.
Claudio. Yep. Claudio.
Yeah.
I mean, so, these guys would go back to that.
Yeah. So the rule goes for wrestlers after their 90-day non-compete clause expires.
So these recently announced ones, they can't be signing their name.
They can use it for the time being.
Oh, they can for the next 90 days.
Yes. So, for example, Aleister Black, Tommy End, he will be able to sign autographs with his WWE name now until the non-compete expires on Tuesday, August 31st.
So I'm hitting every comic book and trade show shop I can for the next 90 days to use that name.
Now, it says here that his first post-WWE appearance, that was recently announced as the big event in New York. But he will not be able to sign with the Aleister Black name because the convention takes place on Saturday, November 13th.
Oh, okay. Well, unless he's back with the company.
Correct. And then that clock starts over.
But who
again.
the hell is going to... Are they going to have some stooge at every convention to make sure these guys are not signing their names?
Well, I know what you mean. Like, how do you keep track of when they signed it?
How do you do that? Yeah, it's like,
social media. Social media. There could be some nip fuck who got an autograph at one of these conventions and immediately plasters it all over social media. So-and-so signed my T-shirt, and there it is in broad daylight. You know, I'm thinking that it could be something like that.
Yeah. That's what it would be these days. That's all they would have to patrol is just, yes, you're right, social media. They wouldn't have to send anyone out anymore like they had to do like in the old days when they were trying to bust up bars doing the pay-per-views and they were having more people in the venue than they said they could allow with their fire code number.
Now, that's one perk that they're stripping away. You can no longer use the WWE name.
Okay.
Another perk that they would strip you of, as Chelsea Green had to find out the hard way.
The green card?
No, WWE immediately canceled her Peacock subscription after they released her.
Not that $4 subscription. Damn.
So apparently, each wrestler gets a code. When they're under contract, they get a code for free subscription. And I guess Matt Cardona revealed the whole thing about WWE canceling his wife's Peacock subscription the same day that she was released. So they didn't even wait. They canceled that day. Yeah, he says, I mean, WWE did give out the WWE Network code, and for so long, even after I got fired, it still worked for me, and they cut me off finally. Yeah. Yeah, so he just goes, I mean, this is like not give a fuck type news, but still kind of like that petty jab that you know, so there you go.
We're going to cut you off on that Peacock. You can't get a lot of that.
Now, as far as the morale, Slade and PJ, by the way, the Bush League Munch Show, be sure to like the podcast, also subscribe. And also, you can listen to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and check us out on social media at Bush League MS Pod. Sheamus was talking about the locker room morale in the company. So with all these talent releases, there's been speculation going around that the morale in the locker room is just at an all-time low. Some former talent have talked about how morale had been up like before the release.
Okay.
You know, things have changed. It's not the company they remember working for. If you were there long enough back in the 90s, like a Big Show or Mark Henry, if you were there during the 2000s period of the Ruthless Aggression, or even the 2010, like it seems like this, it just changes over time, constantly.
Yeah.
Especially as you get more and more into a locker room in which the men and women may not have gone through and paid dues the way that some people would say that you pay dues in professional wrestling.
Yes.
It's, Sheamus was in an interview with Vibe in Wrestling. He disagreed that the morale has lowered following the releases. He also stated that the best thing to do for talent following releases is just to move forward. He said, quote, "The locker room has got to get on with it. I've been in the company 12 years and part of the business. People come in and people go. And you got to get down with it. Every Monday, you got to get there and perform. I don't think the morale is down. I think it's a lot better than what it used to be when I started. There's a lot more. There was a lot more camaraderie. And we have great lads, experienced lads, and young lads working together during the pandemic with no fans. You talk to some of the legends, and they will tell you that they would not adapt to perform in that ring. So I think it is a credit to everyone who has been working nonstop during the last 15 or 16 months and keeping the company going and people entertained during the situation." Now, I want to go on the part where he says, I think it's better than what it used to be when I first started.
That's an interesting point.
Now, now at that time, he was more the young lad in the locker room.
Yes, he was.
You had a few more of the, if you will, old school kind of guys, maybe.
Yeah.
Or at least extensions.
Extensions of them.
Of the old school.
Because they were starting to fade out, some of the older ones.
Your veterans at that time in the locker room, Cena would have been a vet by then.
Cena would have been probably number one guy.
Even though he wasn't an active wrestler. JBL, still hanging around.
Yeah, definitely.
Jericho.
Off and on, I guess, yeah.
Batista. Triple H.
Yeah. Yep, Batista. Yeah, I mean, you had that kind of mindset, but you didn't have the flares.
He wasn't the top dog on the chain, is what I'm saying. Sheamus.
Oh, exactly. No.
That's why it wasn't that time.
Yes. Yeah,
was
you're
worse
right. I see what
compared to
you're
this one.
Yeah, exactly.
He's one of the leaders now.
Yes, he is.
So of course it's all gravy.
It's all good now.
It's all good.
Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah, because now he's been through the process and all that. I will say though, the morale.
He's in a position where he's been around for a long time. He's been a mainstay. Not to cut you off, but I would say that from the outside looking in, I would think the morale would be down.
Oh yeah.
When you're a guy like Big E, who's getting ready to work a program with Aleister Black.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, you release the fucking guy that I'm supposed to be working with, that we're supposed to kick this program off with.
Yes.
That could be discouraging.
Very.
When I'm watching Raw and I'm seeing what they've been doing for the last year plus with a guy like Ricochet, I could see morale being a little low and discouraging.
Exactly.
When you make Keith Lee look so strong at NXT and you bring him up, and within 4 or 5 months, you take him off TV completely. We've barely seen him.
Yeah.
and these guys are putting cryptic messages out there on Twitter. I could see morale being a little low in the locker room.
Well, yeah, especially with, like you said, the cuts going on. So now you're looking around your shoulder to see, well, am I next?
Especially if you're a person they're not doing much with.
Yes. I will say, too, he is right with the pandemic stuff. No one has had to go through that shit where you're not working, you're not running towns, you're not going anywhere. You're in the same damn place. Just think how mundane that is. You're in the same place. You're seeing the same people. I mean, you're probably getting sick and tired of seeing each other every now and then.
And you're not getting an organic reaction from the crowd.
You're just in
Pro
front
wrestling
of a
definitely needs a live crowd.
You're in front of that planted damn screens, and you don't know what the hell. You're being contrived and told this is what we want and that and that. But, yeah, you're not getting the natural reaction of hitting the road, learning what people want, seeing how your work is paying off and how you're getting over with the crowd. This is a terrible time. And like you said, with those cuts going on, added on top of it, it's got to be an all-time low. It has to be. You would have to think that. There's no way you could say, yeah, this is the most positive locker room we've ever had. No, that's bullshit.
If I'm one of the young cats in that locker room and I see a guy like Sheamus, who was just in the world title picture, was just in a triple threat for the world title.
Yeah.
And I see him just out of left field just get cut. I mean, you can't help but to think, fuck, am I next? Am I part of that?
Yeah.
I haven't been on TV in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I've come up with every idea that I can to try and get on TV.
Yeah.
They say, yeah, we'll think about it. Nothing comes about it.
Mm-hmm.
Every week I'm in catering. I'm still required to show up, even though they're not going to do anything with me.
Well, the Jeff Hardy scenario. I mean, we've talked about that. Now Hardy, maybe he's done it to himself or not with getting into legal trouble again or whatnot. But and there's another example right there. He's still on the roster, but he's getting buried here. And then you see some of the other talents that let go. Lana. Her husband signs at the other place. She gets through a table 8 weeks in a row, and you knew they were ribbing her just because of that. Then she gets released, and she worked hard to get, better and better each week. And it has to be an all-time low. I don't care what he says. Just with everything going on with the pandemic, and now with these cuts, which they will say is a cause of the pandemic, but let's face it, it's not. They just want to change the business model a little bit here. It has to be an all-time low. It really has to be, no matter what he says.
All right, AEW, turn the tides over to them. They're going to be returning to touring next month, and to commemorate the event, the promotion, they announced 4 special episodes of AEW Dynamite across the month of July. The 4 events will include Road Rager, July 7th in Miami. You're going to get 2 nights of Fyter Fest. Night 1 is going to be July 14th in Austin, Texas. Night 2 is going to be in Dallas. And Fight for the Fallen is going to be in Charlotte. Tickets for all 4 shows are officially on sale right now, actually. AEW's schedule will then turn towards the premiere of AEW Rampage, which is going to be premiering on August 13th, and then the all-out pay-per-view in Chicago on September 5th. Now, the first official match that has been announced for the 4-show lineup has also been confirmed. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
This is going to be pitting Cody Rhodes.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
against QT Marshall in a 4-corner South Beach strap match on July 7th.
They were taking their belts off on Dynamite to preview this thing, and I was just thinking, we did a cowbell match with your brother a week ago. Now we're having a damn strap match. Can we? I love the dream. I really do. I love Dusty, but can we not have these damn matches anymore? It's getting a little too much.
Right, your brother just had a cowbell match with someone in the same group.
Yeah. And I thought your beef was with a go-go, but now it's back to QT again.
Nobody cares.
No.
I damn sure don't.
The promo, too, on Dynamite was another kind of promo with it.
One of the big stories of the entire week of not just AEW, just professional wrestling in general. After only one appearance, Lio Rush announcing his retirement from pro wrestling.
Yeah.
This was a little more than a week after he appeared at AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. He's calling it quits. He took to Twitter earlier in the week to announce it. He thanked AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he's currently signed. He said, quote, "I'm retiring from pro wrestling." This is what he put on Twitter, so this is what he tweeted. He said, "It's been a crazy ride, but it's time to go off and do what truly makes me happy. Thank you to AEW and then New Japan for everything." On his Instagram page, he elaborated for his reasons for retiring in a much more lengthy statement. He's revealed that he suffered an injury, which he initially thought to be not serious, only for it to start affecting his everyday life. He said, quote, "Got the news that I'd be taking some time off due to injury. Me thinking it would only affect my wrestling obligations, I still tried to go on about my days as I knew them. I realized just how much this would affect my everyday life. For anyone that knows me, you know I work endlessly for me and my family. It became more and more frustrating every day, finding little things that I could no longer do, like simply putting on a shirt, and a much harder fact to deal with, not being able to pick up my newborn son." Rush also talked about, he revealed that he had suffered the injury at Double or Nothing, where he was, if you remember, the Joker entrant in the Casino Battle Royale. Mm-hmm. He closed the statement by saying that he will still fulfill his contractual obligations with New Japan before officially retiring, and he then posted an X-ray of his injury. Now, Rush, he announced his retirement all this week, and he, received some messages. Now, I know you kind of got on Kahn a little bit because you said it came a little late, and I said, well, Kahn could have possibly been on the plane at the time that Rush made the announcement, but Tony Khan reached out. He got messages from him. He got one from MLW CEO Court Bauer and New Japan. Rush said on Instagram, as I said before, he's going to fulfill his dates with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And people were wondering, well, what's this about the contract with AEW? Because he talked about how he was lucky enough to be in a position where he was able to simultaneously sign two separate deals with two separate promotions. And people were starting to kind of call that into question.
Yeah.
But on the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer radio show, Dave Meltzer said that in New Japan Pro Wrestling actually gave Lio Rush permission to sign with AEW.
Again,
But New Japan had priority on the dates. So this probably would have just been a working agreement. You can have them for a couple
5 matches. Like the 5-match deal that Matt Cardona got.
The deal with New Japan also allowed him to wrestle in MLW and for other indies as well. So
I don't think he was signed, sealed, concrete, delivered to AEW. I think they're making much to do about nothing with that. I think it was like an appearance deal. Jeff Cobb. Oh, we forgot that. All right. So here's my thing about the whole Tony Khan release. They don't know how to do any press releases with this company. They've got to hire somebody. Here was the press
He's
release.
writing his own stuff, right?
Yes.
It's coming straight from him.
This was released hours. This was about 4 hours after Lio Rush put out the retirement thing. His press release. Lio Rush reached out to me today, and he shared that he'd planned to announce his retirement from pro wrestling tonight. While this news was unexpected, I'm glad that he's made a choice that he's confident will make him and his family happy. Lio is a great talent, and I enjoyed briefly working with him, and I absolutely wish him the best. I mean, it ends all good and all, but there's just the little thing. He reached out to me today. So that means he talked to him earlier in the damn day. He knew this was coming. So then 3 sentences later, you can't say, well, this was unexpected.
Oh.
No, it wasn't. He told you earlier in the day what he was doing. I don't know if you were trying to talk his ass out of doing it or not.
Now, to be fair, Maybe Tony means that it was unexpected that Leo was going to reach out to him to tell him that news.
Well, I guess, okay. To play devil's advocate, yes. That would be, well, you saw him get injured in your pay-per-view.
But no one thought that it was serious.
But you knew something was up. He had to know something was up backstage. It's like how he played.
Tony wasn't expecting the guy to call him up and say, I'm going to retire from the business.
And he shared that he'd planned to announce his retirement from Pro Wrestling Tonight. But he said he reached out. It's just how
I got you.
It's just the little things like that drives me in the promo.
You think Tony could have worded it much better?
We'll just do a WWE press release. Just say Leo Rush is unexpectedly retired from All Elite Wrestling. We wish him the best in his future endeavors.
Right.
You don't have to make it so personalized. Well, he reached out to me today, but it was unexpected that he retired. No, it wasn't.
Now, as far as him not jumping on it immediately and putting out a press release,
like you said, I'll give you the better.
I'll give him. Okay, you wanted Leo to at least be able to do that first before Court Bauer, Tony Khan, New Japan, before they say, let him put it out there first. But I get what you're saying. To come out 4 hours later after the statement's been made.
Yes.
And then say that it was unexpected. Like you feel like he drew this up on the fly.
Of course he did. He did. Because,
that was real time. That wasn't a statement that had been already typed out earlier in the day, and he was just waiting to hit send.
It was tweeted at 11:56 p.m. on the 8th.
Okay.
Leo Rush's announcement came out at about 4 hours before this, about 7:56. We'll just say 7:56 on Instagram and Twitter. So, I know I'm probably just pecking here on time, but I just, get a PR person.
Okay.
Just get a PR person. That's my whole thing.
Well, it's like the Cody thing, right?
Yes. That's
about the
focus group.
Yes, the focus group.
Yeah, that they don't have a focus group, but they have a focus group
right.
for their promos. We've heard that one. It's just little shit like that. That's just like, we're not New York, but we kind of are. But we're not. No, we're not.
Another one that's injury related, none other than the AEW World Champ, Kenny Omega, who's said to have been dealing with injuries lately. Omega is said to be hurting pretty badly right now, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. In addition to a stomach virus from this past week, Omega has been reportedly suffering from a deep bone bruise near his tailbone, an athletic hernia, and normal wear and tear on the knees. So that would probably at least explain why we haven't seen Omega in as many matches. And if we have on television, it's kind of been like a 6-man tag, something of that nature. Doesn't require him to have to do a whole lot. Omega reportedly, he sliced up his hand pretty good, needed about 7 stitches to close it up when he gave a belt shot to Pac, which was like the 4th one during the match at Double or Nothing, which saw him retain the AEW World title over both Pac and Orange Cassidy. So I guess he got cut from the belt. The belt's pretty sharp. And he kept drilling Pac. Oh, so you didn't know about this?
I didn't know the belt was that sharp.
Yeah, apparently this is a pretty sharp-ass belt.
Okay, so it's the first time in history that a belt could cause damage.
Well, depends on how that stuff was sticking out. If the plate was detached from that leather. I don't know. All right.
I'm just saying, this is the first time a belt shot. We see it knock out guys.
Try to make sense of this.
This is actually legit this time.
Now, Omega is scheduled to defend the Impact World title this weekend against Moose at Impact's Against All Odds pay-per-view. Is this a chance to maybe help him heal up and start to slowly get these belts off? Eventually, Impact's going to want their belt back.
Yeah, this is the gimmick, the Thanos gimmick is done with, because now you're opening back up business. You want to hit the road. You're not going to have this guy in another promotion have your belt anymore. It was a nice little story that got no one anywhere.
They didn't talk about it
They
much.
didn't never talk about it anyway.
And I said, what's the point? I actually was into the storyline if you talked about it. If you talked about him being the belt collector, I would have I was all for it.
Well,
but
they were starting to go there, but then they start and stop with the promos. Yeah, he started to, but then all of a sudden...
Well, I think what hurts it is when the top challengers from those promotions aren't making appearances on Impact.
Correct.
Or on AEW saying,
Rich Swann,
I want my belt back.
You never saw him.
Never saw him.
None of these guys from Impact.
Moose. Never saw him.
Is Impact... They just don't give a shit that their belt is on another pro. I mean, just think about that. If it was back in the territory days, and if you had one guy from one promotion steal that belt, go over there and defend it, the whole damn locker room would be after him. But no, not on these at all. Now, with Omega, though, I am, with the finisher he has, and you said that deep bone bruise is on that, doing that finisher has got to be a pain in the ass then. Because you're landing right on your tailbone every damn time you're doing it. So I could see... if that is really hurting him, that's why you're going to have the old roll-up finishes, maybe a submission or something like that, because, I could see where that be a pain in the ass doing that.
Yeah. His workload, besides the Moose match this weekend at Against All Odds for Impact, he's going to be defending the AEW World title against Jungle Boy. That's going to be in the June 26th Saturday Night Dynamite show. Put that on your calendar if you forgot about that. That's not going to be a Friday night. That's a Saturday night now.
Ooh.
You going to make that one? Sure you will. It's professional wrestling. We watch it so you don't have to.
I guess. Thanks for putting that on the calendar.
Omega has also got another big match confirmed for this summer. That's going to be against Andrade, AAA, at the Triple Mania event. That's going to be Saturday, August 14th.
There goes that belt.
So he's losing. You think he loses 2 out of 3?
He's got to.
He's losing to Moose this weekend.
Yes.
He's losing to Andrade.
He has to. I mean, that's just business 101. You need your damn championship belt if you're hitting the road and trying to make money. Or
he's beating Jungle Boy.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we rule out Omega if there are plans to take any time off to deal with the injuries.
Yeah, but I think they could space it. He has the Jungle Boy.
Just continue to have him come out with Callis and cut promos.
I think you have the Jungle Boy match because I guess he said you had to have it now. I don't know why they couldn't. They couldn't build this up for All In. I don't know. I mean, they do this thing, the Jungle Boy, every year it seems like, where we like him now. We're going to push him. But now, no, we're going to have this pay-per-view, or we're just going to have this match on Dynamite. And they announced it. Instead of... just the thing with their Battle Royal, and maybe WWE has got his condition now that if you win the Rumble, you're going to Mania. So maybe my mindsets are off, and they're trying to change that, which I guess kudos. But if you win one of these Battle Royals, shouldn't you get the next pay-per-view? You should be part of a big match on these instead of going on Dynamite like the next, like Scorpio Sky and Darby Allin. Scorpio won that Battle Royal, and he was on the next Wednesday night. Wouldn't you think that it should be kind of a reward for winning it? And you don't have to face him next week. You face him at the next
I don't think so anymore because they've done the Casino Battle Royale so many damn times now already.
But they only call it that at Double or Nothing. They call it something else.
Same type of match, though.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got too many Battle Royals in this company.
Yes. It's either for a tag team shot or, it's for that. Or TNT Championship or whatever. But, Jungle Boy, to give Omega more time, too, they should have spaced this damn match out.
The former champion that Omega beat to claim the AEW World title, Jon Moxley, taking an indefinite hiatus from AEW for real-life reasons. He's going to be away undisclosed period of time. Welcome the arrival of his newborn baby daughter that's going to be on the way with for he and Renee Paquette, or the former Renee Young at WWE. I believe Nora is going to be the name of the baby. The broadcast team revealed the news on this week's episode of Dynamite. Now, that's the issue that I have.
Yes. They kind of snuck it in there.
Why? Why do we...
They didn't need to put that, just let the guy go away But here's my thing. If he shows up at one of these goddamn mud shows where he says, I can't show up for you, AEW, but he's doing light bulb spots and shit like that. If you're Tony Khan, do you actually start getting legitimately a little pissed that you're like, okay, you're our biggest guy. I understand we don't maybe want to get you in the program, but we need you on TV somehow. Like how WWE did when Austin was injured. They still got his ass on TV doing a segment hitting Mr. McMahon with a goddamn bedpan or something like that.
Yeah.
You would want him somehow on your TV. So if he shows up doing some of these outlaw shows, I would have to be pretty pissed off during this time. He tells you one thing and then he does the other.
Well, they've worked him. He's been one of their bulldog.
Yes.
He's been one of their bulldog workhorses over the last year. I think he will actually utilize time off. I think the way that they just had he and Kingston lose the tag team match the Bucks at Double or Nothing, I thought it was pretty. I felt that it was a good way to write him off for a bit. And it was also a way to keep the door open so when he does come back, he can get right back at the Bucks. So you've got an angle for him immediately when he comes back. I think he'll utilize it.
I hope so.
Tony Khan, he talked about Triple H's media call that was this past week.
Why?
And said that some of the remarks that Triple H made are just simply not true. Now, these remarks that I refer to.
Okay.
Let's just start from the top. So AEW president Tony Khan, he made his weekly appearance on the Busted Open radio show. And this was in the wake of Triple H's controversial, or what some people are calling controversial, comments during an NXT media call during the week. Khan addressed some of what Triple H had to say. And he says that while he takes no issue with Triple H believing that his product was the best, Khan did think that Triple H saying that, quote, the best female performers in the world are either in WWE or want to be, were false. Khan said, quote, everybody is building their own roster. They're going to have good feelings about the people they work with. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that you have the best show or the best company. I think where people got offended yesterday is when he said that, quote, everybody wants to work there. That was like, people are confusing the two things. If you want to say like, hey, I think my show is the best, I think my product's the best, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you should feel that way. That's good. But when you say it like anybody of any value wants to work here, that's not true. It's crazy. There's plenty of people who work in AEW that have no interest in working there. And I think the champion made it pretty clear yesterday with what she tweeted. Now, when he said what she tweeted, he was referring to a tweet made by AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker. She responded to Triple H's comments, and she tweeted a photo of her and Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa got involved on this. Okay, let's just say this.
Yeah.
First off, maybe there are some people in AEW who have no ambition of going to WWE. And this is not to be mean, but this could be because they know deep down they would never get a call from WWE.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
Those might be the only ones.
Yeah.
But for everyone else on that roster who has an ounce of talent that WWE would probably be interested in,
Yeah.
they may say the right thing right now. They may say, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
They may be loyal to AEW.
Yeah.
But when WWE calls, you owe it to yourself to at least listen to the offer. And last I checked, Britt Baker's got a boyfriend who works for that company.
Yes, exactly.
Now, I don't know what their future plans are with Adam Cole, but my guess is they're not going to want to get rid of him anytime soon.
No.
My guess is that when his contract comes up, they're probably going to want to extend him. My guess is now that the shows are going back on the road, they're not going to be as together in Florida. They live together.
Yeah.
They're going to be on the road.
Yeah.
To make life easier, if they want to stay together, the easiest thing would be to be in one company.
Yeah, it would be.
So who has the leverage in that situation? Tony Khan, I would say WWE has the leverage. They could offer Britt Baker. They're an East Coast company. She's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Cole's from Philly.
Yeah.
So they've grown up more around that product.
Yes, exactly.
So, yes, I get it. You're going to have some people toting the company line, as they should.
Yeah.
You're paying them. You've got straps on them.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have straps on them, these are people who are probably seeing their biggest payday so far in the business. So I get it. You've got some people that would, they're going to tote the company line. But here's the thing. Yeah. Do I think that company in general up north in New York, do they have the best female talent right now? I would say so.
Here's my comments on this.
I think they're better than yours. AEW, that is.
If it wasn't, I think Triple H can toot his own horn on this, because if it wasn't for him developing female talent through the last 8-9 years, we wouldn't have the women's division as good as they are right now. They're better than the men's. A lot of them are right now. You wouldn't have these opportunities. So that's why he should be grateful that he can say that.
He's got a few gals on that roster in AEW that came from there.
Correct. Tay Conte was one of them. I mean, that's
Kate Statlander.
Exactly. They used them as
Chris
jobbers.
Statlander.
Yeah,
Sorry.
But that's the thing.
Serena Deeb.
If it wasn't for Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, we'll throw Natalie in there too. Natalie was on there before that, but I'm just saying,
go on and on and on and on and on.
That core went through the product, Triple H, NXT, and he embraced that, and he was able to convince the old man up on the roster that this is where we need to go. Maybe it was Stephanie that helped convince Vince on that, but we've got to start shooting in this direction a little bit more. If it wasn't for that NXT, I don't know where we would be with women's wrestling right now. And I'm glad that's where it's turned out, because, yes, they are great athletes. They're fantastic. Like I said, a lot of the programs are better than the men's programs right now.
Yes.
So for him to say those comments, I don't know where Kahn can just piss and moan and say, well, he can't say that. They all don't want to work there. Actually,
I think some of the females would tell you they would.
They would, because they saw that.
They saw that, and they feel that if they went there, if they did what they needed to do, at some point they get a push of some sort.
Yes.
Whether it be an NXT or main roster, they've got a shot.
And quite frankly, I mean, the talent it's far and above from what you have right now at AEW.
It's
not. You had to bring in Thunder Rosa from NWA. I don't know how long they have her.
Bringing gals in from New Japan.
Yeah. That's the thing. You brought the New Japan, and if that's what he's trying to fight with, is say, well, we got the New Japan run. Well, that's great, but we saw one that was a karaoke singer or tried to be an idol singer, and that was her thing, and they got a good laugh out of it, and now they're not even using her anymore. And that kind of set the women's division back a little bit there. So, yeah, Britt Baker, fantastic champion. But like you said, too, I wouldn't. Yeah, she's got the boyfriend there, too. So one of these days, it's going to come to a head where they've got to decide what they're going to do.
Tony Schiavone talked about why Mark Henry's reveal at AEW Double or Nothing was so short. So they bring out Henry, and he immediately turns around and walks right back up the tunnel. People were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, Henry's coming into AEW. He's going to be a backstage coach, and he was also announced he's going to be an analyst for the AEW Rampage show. Mm-hmm. Why so short, though? Well, speaking on his podcast, Tony Schiavone revealed the original plan for Mark Henry's debut at Double or Nothing and why it was cut for time. He said, quote, Tony Khan told me, no, Mark Henry is going to be with you. You're going to introduce him, and we had a 5-minute interview we were going to do, which had to be cut because the show was running long.
Yeah.
Every one of their pay-per-views runs
They
long.
run long.
They run long.
They have no time. They have no formatting.
You were
just,
already running
just like a
long.
Dynamite on a weekly
Why
basis.
not just squeeze in the 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Why not just do it?
They don't have good formatting on all their shows.
He says Mark Henry just walked out, as people saw, and we did our interview on Dynamite. I went to the trailer to talk to Mark and said, Tony told me we're going to say what we're going to say. Do you know what we're going to talk about? He said, I always know what we're going to talk about. You got it, buddy. When he walked out, he pointed to his watch and was telling me, wrap it the fuck up because we're short on time. So that part where he pointed at the watch and he turned around, that's what that was. Okay. So Schiavone says, yeah, they had to cut that short, but they ended up doing the interview on Dynamite. Here's the thing.
The interview on Dynamite was terrible.
That was short, too.
Yeah, it was shorter.
They got ran off by Vicky and Andrade.
So here you are. You pay this money to bring in a legend, Mark Henry, and he can barely spit out a couple sentences a week because you don't know how to time a damn show. And not that he has anything earth-shattering to say. And because he's going to be a commentator anyways, he'll have his forum to say what he needs to say. But they did this, though, too, I mean, with Big Show when they first brought him on. They had to tape show when they announced the signing, so they couldn't really make a big deal about it until the next week after that. But then when they brought him on, yeah, I got a big special Hall of Fame worthy talent. We're going to be announcing at the pay-per-view. And then they hustled him off the stage, and that's all he said. So there's some timing and format issues they got to work on, especially these guys that you're paying big money now. People want to hear them talk. You got to give them the time.
The Dark Order. Now, this group originally came in the AEW as heels.
Yes.
Had no credibility. They were barely winning matches. They finally got sympathy and became baby faces after the unfortunate passing of Brody Lee late last year.
Yep.
We might have figured out, though, who the real true badass of the Dark Order is. To end the Bush League Mud Show podcast for this week. This is a story that comes out of AEW, out of that camp, that involves Brody Lee Jr. -1.
Yes.
Amanda Huber, who is the widow of the late AEW and WWE star Jonathan Huber, who went by Luke Harper, Brody Lee. She revealed that her son, Brody Jr., had been banned from AEW television. People have been wondering where had -1 been. Now, he was back on there earlier tonight.
Yes, he was.
But we didn't see him for a while there. She said that he's only allowed to participate in AEW shows when he's performing well in school. Now, how this came about, Amanda took to Instagram to share a video of Brody and his younger brother, Nolan, unboxing the latest line of AEW action figures. A fan left a comment in which he theorized that Brody's recent absence from AEW programming was due to his schooling. So this was shits and giggles. Just threw a little messy comment on.
Yep.
They're just throwing it out there. Hey, man, where you been up to? Why are you not on TV lately? What, you got bad grades? What's going on? Well, Mom stepped in and said 100%. He stopped doing his work, so he lost his privileges. Amanda replied, I don't make any money off any appearances that he does at AEW. It's purely for fun. It's his favorite place in the world and a reward for hard work. He managed to finish his school year with all A's and B's despite slipping up a bit. I'm very proud of him. Now, it must be noted that he does actually have a contract, but it only kicks in when he's 18 and he actually wants to pursue professional wrestling.
Okay.
But she made a mention. She threw that out there. Look, we don't. Yeah. He's on TV. We don't get paid for this.
And I think, if I remember right, they live in the Rochester area, so I think
that's where Brody was from, right?
Yeah,
Rochester, New York.
I think that's where they are from. So yeah, that's quite back and forth. If they're doing the back and forth thing, I mean, pandemic, maybe they were staying down in Florida, but
yeah. So there you go. -1 is truly a heel.
He's biggest heel in the company
compared to his Dark Order constituents.
Don't you know who I am, Teach? Give me an A and B. I need to make the show this week.
There you go. All right, Slade, PJ, Bush League Mud Show. Like and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Check us out on social media at Bush League MS Pod. And listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. We'll holler at you next week.